To feel it, but in a way where we're easing off the pain a little bit. So we're doing something that's nourishing for us, and it's taking the edge off it while still allowing us to feel what's going on and what's coming up for us. And when the pain isn't at like a 10 out of 10 and it's subsided to maybe a 7 out of 10, around that kind of scale, when it gets to that point, you can look at it and get really curious and ask questions like, and write this down, don't just watch the video and then move on with your life. Write these questions down, because this is really, really going to help you, and actually journal on them. Don't just write them down and forget about them. Actually journal on them, and this is what I mean when I say doing the work. So journal on it and ask questions like, what is this bringing up for me? What is my fear? And what is the deeper feeling here? What's really going on, right? And you can start with some journaling prompts like, I am afraid that, I am hurt that, I am sad that, my deepest fear is, and it's probably going to be, not to give you a spoiler, but it's probably going to be that I'm unlovable, I'm unworthy, I'm not going to find someone, which is like a really common fear, right? So it's probably going to be something of that nature. And so when you're able to journal on that, it really helps you to understand what's going on here, because the reason this hurts so much, the reason heartbreak hurts so much, is because it's starting to hit on our deepest wounds. This doesn't happen when a friendship ends. It doesn't happen when we change careers, although those are very big life events as well, and we need to acknowledge that and process that in its own way. But relationships really get in so deep, because on the one hand, we're all hardwired for connection and we all want that, and love is why we're here, right? We are not living in isolation. We're pack animals. We need to be around our fellow Homo sapiens. On the flip side, intimacy is where our deepest wounds are housed, and so it becomes this real seesaw between wanting connection, then connection hurting us if we have unhealed wounds that are at play. So it's about healing the wounds that are underneath all of that, so that someone can leave your life without it being absolutely devastating. And yes, we'll feel sad and we'll go through a whole range of emotions, and there'll be somewhat of a grieving process, but you won't feel completely taken out by it to the point that you feel like you're going to die. Like if you're plummeted into severe depression and or extreme emotions when that happens, when someone leaves your life, especially a romantic partner, a love interest, whoever it may be, if that is happening, that's a pattern, and that's your pattern. And I say that with a lot of compassion, and it's really important that we notice our own stuff and our own patterns. And that's what I do. That's my job, right? That's my job. That's my whole reason for being here on the planet this time. It's to help you to figure this out. Because love doesn't have an opposite. Love doesn't have an opposite of fear. Love doesn't have an opposite of hate. Love is a really pure energy. And it's interesting because we have all these associations with love, don't we? That love and dating and love and infatuation and love and affairs are all the same thing, and they're not. Love is a very, very pure state. And often when we say love, we don't really mean love. We mean dating drama, and dating drama and love are not one and the same thing. They're not mutually exclusive. So it's really about unpicking what your patterns are and really figuring this out. And like I said, I can help you with that, and if you want to dive deep with me, I'd love to serve you. That would be amazing. You can really become your own relationship pattern interrupter as well, right? By looking at these things, really seeing what's going on, recognizing it, and getting really curious. And that's the thing, it can be so easy to blame the other person, especially when we're feeling really in pain, and he left and he did this and she did that and she should have stayed, and maybe, right, maybe. And at the same time, it's also an opportunity to look at our own stuff. I had the most painful, deeply painful karmic love situation, twin flame situation really, 2 years ago, and it's amazing that the same person that I felt I would die without, the same person that I thought I could not go on without, now doesn't even enter my head. Like, don't think of him. Not because I'm ignoring or numbing or trying not to feel like it's just not there. It doesn't have the emotional pull that it did, because I've processed what was going on. And there are also patterns of attraction as well, and that's probably a good topic for tomorrow, actually, patterns of attraction, because sometimes we're attracted to people who remind us of trauma. I did a post on that recently, actually, so look that up. It's about it's something like passionate love affair or trauma bond, I think that's the name of it. And sometimes, you know, when we've been through trauma, and many of you have, I'm sure, when we've been through that, we find like an attraction with and a comfort with people who are a certain way, and that might be like the unavailable man, that's the cliche one, isn't it, or the bad boy, or the person who causes a lot of chaos and drama in our life, and it feels familiar because we probably had a very chaotic and dramatic childhood home, or something happened in childhood that was really extreme, and so it reminds us of that. And this is all subconscious, and this is the thing, like, we can't heal what we don't know. And so when we become aware of it through either, you know, through watching this and really processing what I'm saying, and or doing the journaling prompts that I gave earlier, if you're watching on the replay, then first of all catch up in the comments below, and also rewind back to those journaling prompts, write them down and actually do them, and comment below when you have, because when we do that, we really become aware of what's going on, and we become conscious of it, and then that's the first step to healing, right? That's the first step, is becoming aware of what this is bringing up in us. And that's really the key to healing heartbreak, is to understand what pain point it's hitting, to understand what core wound it's not only rubbing up against, but like it's salt is going in that wound when that person has left our life, right? And you may be dealing with someone that is very, very karmic. There may be a strong soul-to-soul love connection there. And I don't talk about that as much as I used to, because it doesn't really matter as much as I thought it did, actually. But those kind of people do get in really, really deep, and we feel it more strongly. It doesn't mean that that's an excuse for not getting over them, but sometimes it is really valuable context and information to help you to understand why it is that you're feeling it as strongly as you are. Yeah, it's really the key to healing heartbreak is awareness. And if you're there at the moment, that's probably the last thing you want to hear, and probably the next thing you want to do is grab some ice cream and go watch Netflix, but it's not going to help. Like, you need to take the edge off. But so do something soothing for yourself, like it might be a salt bath. I find water a really healing thing. I have a lot of water in my chart, a lot of Scorpios, so it's really helpful for me to be submersed in water, whether that's swimming, or whether it's a salt bath, or whether it's being by the ocean, or whatever that looks like. Water is a very, very healing thing and helps you to process emotions. It's the whole symbolism of emotions too, water, isn't it? So that can be something that can really soothe you and take the edge off without you numbing out. If you're smoking too much, drinking too much, shoveling food into your mouth, numbing on Netflix, working too much, right? Workaholism, that's all avoidance, and avoidance is the opposite of awareness. Avoidance is the opposite of awareness.